I am excited for today because if there's one thing that I love to talk about, it's LLCs. It's kind of my favorite thing in the whole wide world. So, before we get started, I have to. And we're back. Just have to put that out there for legal reasons. I need to have done it sooner, but it was on my to do list and it finally got to the top. So, today we're going to talk about 5 things that you need to do after you form your LLC. Now, keep in mind, this is not, as I've said before, an exhaustive list. So don't think that what we're going to talk about today is all you need to do, but these are just the things that you should do. Because after all, you've just started a business, and that's a pretty big deal. So, first and foremost, if you are new here, my name is Taylor Darcy with Think Legal. I help you create the business of your dreams. So welcome. I'm excited that you're here. Please leave comments, subscribe, and make sure you get notified when I go live. I do go live every weekday, Monday through Friday, so just weekdays. I do take holidays off, but I'll probably be posting videos that are not live during those time periods. And that's to keep things moving and growing, because at the end of the day, you can never have too much information, especially as an entrepreneur. So I am very excited to talk today about those 5 things. Now, first and foremost, if you are in the state of California, some of these apply and some of them are applied no matter where you're at. So please, as I put in the disclaimer, seek local counsel if you have something specific to your area. But first and foremost, you've started an LLC. The very first thing you should do, along with starting that LLC, once it's registered, is filing a statement of information. Now, that's California. You have 90 days in which to file it. In my opinion, it's just one more stupid piece of paper that the state requires. I don't necessarily agree with it, but you are required to do it, and you are required to do it within 90 days. So my philosophy is always just do it right after that, after you get your certification back, the filed articles of organization that you get back from the state. The next thing that you're going to want to do, and this is arguably probably one of the most important things you're going to want to do, is if you have existing contracts with you as a sole proprietor, you're going to want to review them to make sure that you have your contracts updated with the correct name and correct entity type. That is part of the thing that you are now required to do, is to put people on notice that the contract now ends, or is that you're subject to limited liability. And part of that is that you need to notify them through putting the full name in its entirety on your in your contracts. If you don't have contracts, now is about as good of a time as you'll ever get to having a contract, or to starting a contract, I should say. It's going to be when it's going to be the easiest to do. So get your contracts ready, and if you don't know what you're doing, and that's very true most often, please hire an attorney to help you with your contracts, because they can be just as important as your actual limited liability, all of the work that's done with your limited liability. This also kind of adds into, you want to make sure you have your operating agreement. This is where some online services fail greatly to have an operating agreement, because that's considered practicing law. And so what you want to do is find an attorney in your area. Some places will send you one and you kind of fill it out yourself. And I don't really agree with that, only because you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what is best for you when it comes to that operating agreement, because that's the governing document for an LLC, especially if you want to contract around. And that's why I bring this up. This is especially true if you want to contract around what the state rules are, what the default rules. So that's the second thing you want to focus on. The next thing that you want to focus on is making sure your insurance policies are in the correct name of the business. Now, I just recently received, because I was getting all of my stuff changed over to a different business name. The insurance carrier that I have sent me a message saying, "Why didn't you do this sooner? We just heard about it in August, and you changed your name in May." And the truth is I had forgotten about it. So that's one of the reasons why I'm bringing up this video and bringing this to your attention, is because, I was reviewing my records and went, "Oh, dang it, I meant to do that." And it got to be on my to-do list, and I had other things that were more pressing. So I wanted you to learn from me and to do it yourself, and so that you don't forget. And by the way, stick around I'm going to have a bonus tip at the end. So please make sure you stay until the end so that I can give you that bonus tip. The next thing that you're going to want to do, and I know this is probably the more fun thing. This is the thing that most people think of when they're like, "Ooh, I get to start a business. I'm so excited." Now is the time that you want to update your stationery or business cards or logo to make sure that it's compliant and covers all of those things that are required for notification purposes. And this is probably one of the best opportunities to begin your branding, whatever that may be. So as you're beginning a business, your personal brand is what has got you to where you are. Now you need to build your legal brand, your physical brand of your product. I think Coca-Cola, think Pepsi. That is a brand. It's not a person. For like movie stars, their brand is their person, right? But now that you're moving into a business entity, you want to start building the business's brand. And part of that has a lot to do with the value that you're bringing now, that if someone recognizes the name, all of a sudden they're going to associate that positive. It's also called goodwill. And they're going to associate the good things that you do with that brand. And so now, just like with Think Legal, you're going to associate me with Think Legal, right? And as I get bigger and grow, then other people that work with me are going to associate themselves with this. So it's very important that you start building the type of business that you create. Again, part of the thing that I see with a lot of business owners is that they're not intentional about their actions. They just kind of let whatever happens to them. And so be intentional with your business cards and your stationery, and be specific in how you want to relate to your customers and the clients, your vendors. Think about how you want to be seen in 5 years and 10 years, and someday when you retire, and you leave that business to another person, because you building up the your base has value to it. And so you want to make sure that you are doing the positive thing that builds people. Number 5 is kind of optional. And when I've talked in other videos about your S Corp and your S Corporation, you can actually have an LLC that's designated as an S Corp. And excuse me. And it's a different tax designation. If for some reason, and you seek a tax advisor's opinion about this, you want to have an S Corp, have an LLC taxed as an S Corp, then you're going to want to make sure that you enroll in Payroll. Now, if my recommendation, I use Gusto, and I'll put a link in the bottom or below, affiliate link, where we both gain from it. Doesn't cost you anything extra. Gusto is very easy to pay yourself. They take out all of the payroll taxes, and they make it very easy for you to do. So that's why I recommend them. That's why I use them. And if you're struggling with that sort of thing, there's other places out there like ADP and Paychecks and stuff of that nature. The problem most of them are geared towards bigger entities. Gusto is like $40 to start, and then it's like $6 a user. So it's really economical to start, to make sure that you're complying with your taxes and payroll taxes and whatnot. And other places, they require a lot more, like several users before they'll do it, but you still have to do your payroll taxes. And I'll tell you one thing, I don't personally like doing my payroll taxes. And so take the headache out, pay the money. It's not worth doing it yourself. Use Gusto. And again, I'm not, you don't have to use them. Obviously, there's other places. And if you choose to use them and use the link below, then, great to do that. So now we are on to our last and probably best bonus tip for what you should do after you've started an LLC. And this is one of the things that I see a lot of people struggle with. So I want you to keep that in mind, that this is the reason why I share this bonus tip, and is that it's not absolutely mandatory, but I'll tell you something, it's crazy crucial for your benefit. And that is, tell the world, post on Facebook, post on Twitter, YouTube, start a YouTube channel as you're on with me right now. Part of building a business is letting people know that you exist. So many products don't get sold because people don't know that they exist. And so what you want to do is create as much buzz about it. Be excited that you're doing something. Be excited that you're doing something that a lot of people either choose not to do or choose that can't do. And so, create these social medias posts and make it a part of who you are. Because if people don't know that you exist, we have so many resources, and I talk about this in my podcast, and the link for my podcast is below as well. I talk about this in my podcast. If people don't know that you exist, how can they buy from you? And you might think, well, if I announce it once, that's enough. People know where to come. People are busy, and they forget, and then they hire someone else, or they buy from somewhere else. You need to do your work to stay top of mind. You need to make sure that people remember you and don't just forget over time. Share wins, share things that are exciting about what you're doing. Ask for opinions about your business cards and your logos and the texts of things. Ask for what your audience is looking for. Do surveys. Help people to see that you're there to help them and provide for that need, to solve that problem. One of the most ineffective things you can do is assume that everyone understands you and that everyone understands what you're doing. I put on Facebook yesterday, spooky fact that 90% of all startups fail within the first 5 years. And I'm on a mission to change that. I want businesses to succeed. And there's a big issue with current methods, because most big businesses are acquiring these little ones, and they're not creating the jobs or the revenue at the bottom levels that are needed for sustainable for the economy. You've got Google and Apple that buy up all of these different areas or different companies, and it ends up hurting, because now all of a sudden, instead of these companies growing into these bigger companies to sustain growth, then and these little companies just providing jobs. Now they're just consolidated into the hands of a few. And so, but come up with your mission and let the world know about that. I mean, we have these amazing platforms, which is why I'm on YouTube. I mean, my whole purpose in being in YouTube is that I can create one video that can affect tens, hundreds, thousands, millions of lives that I couldn't do by myself. I couldn't reach that many people if I tried. I just don't have that resource, right? I don't have the ad spend that goes with reaching the millions of people that I want to reach. And so social media has created a way that, and here's how you cut through the fluff, right? There's a lot of people out there that, post on social media about how good things are going and blah, 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 right? It's just kind of obnoxious how much they post. And it's a lot of fluff, right? There's a lot of fluffy. So cut out the fluff. And how you do that is by taking it to the next level. 1% better. Be clearer in your communications. Be more precise in how you're talking. Be that person that you want to see on film. Right? I mean, I try each and every day to work on cutting out my ums and my buts and my so's and all of these things that hurt that. It's a process because I'm not practiced in going on camera. I've spoken in front of people for years. Okay, I've helped people with legal things. I've spoken in front of judges. I've spoken in front of church groups. I've taught. I'm a teacher. I'm a professor. So I'm used to being in front of people. But it's not the same thing as being in front of people on camera because I'm staring at a lens and I'm speaking directly to you, but you're not able to give me feedback. If there's one thing this pandemic should teach us all is that there's a very big difference in how we present ourselves on camera and how we present ourselves in person. And we don't have the same biofeedback that goes when we're talking on camera or when our Facebook posts. How many times have you said something that someone misunderstood or misinterpreted? And so you have to be more careful with what you're saying, not because I think you should be anything other than yourself. I think you should be an amazing person, whoever you are, whatever your best version of yourself is. But you have to be better in that you cut out the superfluous things, the things that don't matter, the things that aren't important. So when you're focusing on your business, you need to focus on the most important thing, and that's growing your business. Okay. I watch Shark Tank occasionally, not very often. But one of the big things I've seen on there is that people don't build their business. They think they've got a good product, and then they go on Shark Tank, and then the sharks tear them apart. And you're like, well, that was dumb. Why would you think that you've had no positive revenue and that they would want to invest? Right? You've hit zero. You've maxed at zero. Why would I invest in something just because it's a good product? I need to make sure that I'm going to receive some return on my investment from Shark Tank. And the same thing goes for you as a business owner. You need to have a return on your investment. You need to make sure that what you are sharing with the world provides for you and your family as much as possible. Because it's noble and great to want to help people, but if you don't have money coming in, then you can't keep helping people. It's just not possible, right? You need to pay for things. You need to pay for systems and processes and hopefully employees someday and things that are going to help you grow, right? And so what you're looking for is you want to make sure that the world knows and that you are clear in your communications, saying exactly what you mean so that as few misinterpretations happen as possible. Now, there's no way that it's going to be perfect. There's no way that you're going to be 100% all of the time. My good friend on Think Media, Sean Cannell, he doesn't actually know me directly, but I like to think of him as a friend. Is that you got to get 1% better each day. You need to be intentional with your interactions with people. You need to help them understand that your purpose, your goal. Just like my goal is to help entrepreneurs and business owners, right? So keep all of these thoughts in mind as you're growing your business, as you're intentionally building your business, is that the world needs to know about you. The world needs to know the message that you're going to bring to them, that you want to share with them. And beat that drum because they may not hear you the first time, They may hear you on the 5th time or the 9th time or the 100th time. You don't know when you will get through or when you'll cut through the barrier that we now have up. There was a guy that said, and I think fairly wisely, follow up until someone buys, dies, or unsubscribes. Okay, now I'm not saying annoy people the crap out of them. I'm not suggesting that. But I am suggesting that we don't follow up nearly enough. Most people don't buy on the first chance that you see them. Most people, especially in today's media, right? We're bombarded with things. How do you get past that? And that's follow up. 80% of it's follow up. That's it. And so if you only do one thing once a week, if you only post one video or one thing about your business once a week, that's only 52 times that someone gets to hear you. And if it takes 27, 28 for people to, pay attention, then that means it's going to take you 6 months. And I'm not just talking about posting on social media just for the sake of posting on social media. I'm talking about posting on social media with intent, posting value, posting things that people want to see about your business. They love to see how well you're doing. Why do you think baby pictures get so many more likes than political posts? People want to see baby pictures. People love to see baby pictures. So in your business, share things that make people think positive things about you. And occasionally share the losses. Share the things that hurt. Oh man, I had this challenging, customer today. Or, oh man, this thing didn't work the way that I expected it to. You know what? I'm going to keep pushing forward. I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to keep trying because I know that it can work. It's success is 90% showing up. The other 10% is keep showing up. That's 100% right there. So many people don't show up to their own lives. So many people just ignore that that they have a choice in what happens, not just to them, but their reaction to it. Are you reacting positively? Okay. Are you making choices that is helping? Instead of, there was one speaker I heard recently that said, instead of saying I had a bad day, to say I had a character building day. I learned something about myself. I learned something that I needed to know to grow and to develop. I learned something about somebody else that now I can take. And when you take it as a learn, John C. Maxwell says, sometimes you lose, sometimes you learn. Right? Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you learn. And if you take it as a learning opportunity, then your success is inevitable. Right? You just keep learning. You keep getting better. Edison, the light bulb. He didn't fail 1,000 times. He learned 1,000 ways that didn't work. That's what it takes to be successful, to be Edison. That's what it takes to be successful, is learning what doesn't work and learning what does. Now, there are shortcuts because there have been people that have been there before, because let's face it, and Sean Cannell says this, success leaves footprints. You think people get to the top of the mountain because they're the first ones that have ever figured out how to climb a mountain? No. They get to the top of the mountain because they follow the Sherpas. They study books on how to get to the top of the mountain. They study things, and they move from one mountain to the next because there's always an opportunity. There's always an opportunity to change, to challenge, to grow. And if you're stuck, it's because you're not looking at it as the opportunity to grow. You're looking at it as an opportunity to just get something. Okay? So, always look to improve and grow and be better today. 1%, right? 1% better today is 365% better over a year. And Sean Cannell also says people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 5 years. One of my classes, we talked about the value of compound interest. I'm not going to go into explaining it in this class, or in this, it's not class. Sorry, I'm used to teaching. But the benefit of compound interest comes from doing something every day. And you will not see benefits from doing something every once in a while, or just when you feel like it, right? Or when it's convenient. Make a schedule. Make a plan. Okay? Figure out a way to accomplish the thing that you do. Sit down. Do your business plan. If you haven't done a business plan yet, do a business plan. Now, I'm here to help. Okay? That's my goal, is to help as many business owners, entrepreneurs, startups as possible. Because I believe in you. I believe we can make that number better. So please, let me help you. Let me help your business grow, help you grow into a full, successful business entity. Stop winging it. Stop trying to do it all yourself. Stop trying to do it without help. If you have questions, comments, concerns, or just want some feedback on something, I'm more than happy to help. So please leave those in the comments. And if you have not subscribed and you've gotten value out of this video, please, by all means, subscribe. And we'll talk to you soon.